August 19th. We are on a Bitcoin chart 4-hour time frame via the mexc.com platform. All right, we are seeing lower highs. Let's consider yesterday. If you watched the video, we made a forecast for a plan B where a quite large price candle could appear, accompanied by volume, which is exactly what we saw as plan B. You already know that plan A for these 7 to 10 days is to look for the price or wait for the price at the breakout of 62,300 and probably on the downside, a retest from the lower zone. However, we are seeing those B options appear, that is a strong entry of volume right in the opposite direction. In other words, it's not that the strong hands are putting in that volume, but rather they are simply letting the price run so that retail gets a little euphoric, meaning they think the price is going to go way up. That is, break through these barriers. Now I'll tell you about all the barriers, resistances, supports, the one at 65,500, even higher. That euphoria is what means profits for the strong hands. I'm Mikel Vazquez. This is Daily Bitcoin Analysis. And what we do on this channel is look for what the price is going to do through the deceptions or strategies of the strong hands of the institutions. That is to say, groups or very small elements of people who operate with enormous capital. They manipulate the chart as they please, they manipulate the indicators however they want, and the only way to detect them is through price action. That is supports, resistances, candle patterns, because that influences every strategy, and then the footprints or the strikes they make with volume. With these two elements, we can determine what those strategies are. Without further ado, let's analyze, our headquarters, the long-term Wyckoff zones, which also give us a big edge when it comes to entering the weekly, which is what we do, weekly, 10 days, and also for scalping or intraday. Even though it might seem like one time frame isn't related to another, everything on the chart is connected. Very well. If you're interested in making money with trading, whether professionally or as a side job, I've designed a course where you'll stop looking at indicators and start understanding what the market is really doing, what the strong hands are really doing, and you'll be able to make money the way they do. Let's continue with the analysis. I'll tell you the important long-term channels we're in through which the price of Bitcoin is moving, although we've since established a pseudo channel because this summer we've seen that movement flatten out quite a bit. Support at 60,000, resistance at 68,000. That is what we're seeing in the long term in that accumulation zone, waiting in the coming months for the breakout to the upside, aiming for 80, 90, and even a Bitcoin at 100,000. For now, that is still a long way off. And what we are in is this pseudo channel formed by the support at 62,300 and the resistance at 65,600. All right. With that in mind, we now have the position through which the price of Bitcoin is going to move. Every time, and of course, the 64,000 zone, which is the most important area throughout the summer, is attracting the price with incredible force. In other words, as soon as the price moves away a little, that force of 64,000 appears and pulls the price in, regardless of the movement, that is, whether it's down or up, short or long. What we've seen that's curious about this last move, the breakout, as I was telling you, is that it is always broken with a very large volume, a volume spike above 1.5. I'll show it to you so we can see it. Also, yesterday, that move was very fast. You could see in real time on the 15-minute chart how a very large candle came in with impressive volume. Very well, that is not a strategy of the smart money. The smart money isn't so obvious, so to speak, but rather they always, even if they put in a lot of volume, the price doesn't play higher or lower. They don't try to deceive. It's evident that in yesterday's case, seeing such a significant volume candle accompanied by the price, no one was going to go short. It was very difficult, and that is what the institutions were taking advantage of. They were letting retail get caught up in that euphoria. Very well. Now that euphoria has passed, we have seen that it has been dropping for quite some time. We are in this zone looking for 64, which is why I tell you that 64 attracts the price with great force. It's It's difficult to break through 64 as well if significant volume doesn't appear, and we're going to be on the lookout all day for that break of 64. It's evident that on the first approach, it won't achieve it. However, we have to be very attentive to the key time. You already know that 3:30 Spanish time coincides with the New York opening. Many funds place their positions there. We can see that large volume entry, and we can see how the institutions react. Many times they simply let that volume come in and they don't go against it. Other times we do see, which is why those wicks appear, meaning they appear in opposition, and we see that volume entry from the funds and the strong hands doing exactly the opposite. And then as time passes, we see a very long wick that gives us exactly that entry or that forecast that the movement is going to be in the opposite direction. Very good. We have the forecast set, as I tell you, for 7 to 10 days, looking for this lower zone. It doesn't mean there can't be an attempt to look for some high with significant volume coming in at 3:30. In principle, it's not the most expected option, but we've seen that these past 2 days, it wasn't the most expected option either. However, the institutions have let that volume drive the price upward. The forecast, like I tell you, is to wait these 7 to 10 days for this zone that I'm marking for you on the chart. That's where we're going to wait for the price. We're also going to look at scalping or intraday, those signals that give us good entries and those that, keeping in mind 4 hours, also the long term, 15 or 30 minutes is more reasonable to do. We are seeing at this time, it's 11:20 on August 19th, and we are seeing that after a small entry of volume, we can consider it a peak. A peak is this, a little bit lower. The red volume candle is also a peak. We are seeing signals that make us understand there could be a pullback, that is, a downward movement. We are seeing the arrival at a zone where it has recently had a reaction. In my course, I explain how to detect these zones, but as you can see, there are zones where a certain amount of volume appears and the price usually turns around. Now we are reaching one of those zones. We are seeing rejection wicks on 3 red candles. Now it's appearing, a kind of small doji is forming, and we've seen some volume. They are 3 elements, not 100% clear, but we could say that the 3 elements appear with 70 or 80% evidence. It's a pretty good moment to enter a short position and look for that 64 zone until the movement loses strength. If you like, as I usually tell you other days, the group, doing scalping, doing intraday, I post in the VIP Telegram, a group I have on Telegram, the 2 entries I usually make per day. It's a closed group. There are about 100 of us. And currently, while anyone used to be able to join with a monthly fee, now the only way to get in is through mexi.com. You become an affiliate, it's completely free, and you make your first deposit. MEXC, when it sees that you are an active user, it will give you a $50 welcome bonus, and I will give you access to the VIP Telegram for 1 month for free so you can try it out, so you can see how it works. If you like it, after that month, it's a monthly fee. It's 19 euros. All right, we have the entries set. You've already seen the forecast for 7 to 10 days, the best positions to enter for scalping or intraday, and we'll see how the price reacts these days because it's playing with that volume from 3:30 from the New York funds, and we'll see that reaction on the 4-hour chart. I'm Mikel Vazquez. This is Daily Bitcoin Analysis. I really appreciate you watching this video. As I always tell you, this is not financial advice, but rather me sharing my experience with you after more than 15 years in professional trading. I also wanted to tell you, since I was forgetting, the August challenge is still active. The position I opened 2 days ago, I still have it open. It's below 64. That's why I haven't given you the entry and the TP yet, because you simply have to be patient. When the TP is triggered, I'll let you know, and we'll see how that account is doing. See you tomorrow.